music of the late Minister Lawrence Chabane, not only a minister here in our South African government, but also an avid musician and a very talented musician at that. Now, on Sunday, the nation woke to the news of the death of the Minister of Public Service and Administrations, and he passed away in a horrific car accident, and so many people commenting on the photograph of his vehicle, and so a lot of people actually saying use that as a Drive Alive campaign, because that perhaps will teach us a lesson not to have these speeding on the road, but I don't know about that. His driver and his bodyguard, Sergeants Lesiba Sekele and Sergeant Lawrence Lentsoane, also were killed in this accident. The Minister in the Presidency, Radebe, announced later on Sunday that the Minister would be afforded a special official funeral. For more detail, he joins us now from our parliamentary studio in Cape Town this morning. Minister, once again, I passed our condolences on to Minister Peters, and we do the same to you, because I know this is a very difficult time for all of you in the ministry. So please accept our condolences to you and, of course, to the family of Minister Chabane as well.
Thank you, Leanne, and all your viewers of Morning Live. Our deepest felt condolences to the families of Lawrence Chabane Lentsoane, as well as Sekele. We are in deep mourning as government, but also as ordinary South Africans, because this horrific accident has really induced a sense of shock and disbelief of what we saw. I've just indicated the manner in which the vehicle is indicates that this was really a fatal accident.
Yeah, it really was. Minister, I must say, since the news came out, there's been a huge outpouring of sympathy from every corner of South Africa. How is the family and coping, and of course, how is government coping as well?
Well, it is a very dark moment, especially for the family and for us in government. As you know, Lawrence Chabane dedicated his whole life from a tender age of 17 to the struggle for freedom and democracy in our country. He was one of those disciplined, dedicated and loyal cadres of Umkhonto weSizwe. He even got a pseudonym by the name of Animal, meaning that he was a warrior who always never slept in ensuring that you and I can be free on the 27th of April 1994. Even after that a historic day, he continued to ensure that we consolidate our democracy by being a very dedicated member of parliament in the Defence and Intelligence Committee, Minerals and Energy, and also as MECs of Public Works, Economic Development, and later Minister in the Presidency, and now on his untimely death as the Minister of Public Service and Administration.
Yeah. Minister, just how do you think South Africa should remember Lawrence Chabane?
They should remember Lawrence Chabane as a young man of 17 years who aspired that we must be free in South Africa. So that sense of dedication, that sense of commitment, that sense of being a South African, so that all of us, black and white, must enjoy our democracy. So that sense of selflessness, I think the youth must be able to take a leaf from the page of Lawrence Chabane's history. But more than that as well, that he was an ordinary human being who never lost touch with his roots. On his untimely death, he was coming from his own village, having spoken at a funeral of his local chief, Ngumalu, indicating that we must never be in the clouds, we must always be with the people. He was also a versatile human being, as we have just been playing for us the music of Lawrence Chabane, which he learned when he was on Robben Island, being taught by Mr. Comrade Bafana Sithole. So that indicates that as South Africans, we can aspire to what we want in life. So the youth must be inspired by the life and times of Lawrence Chabane.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful, and of course very proud, as you said, of his heritage and the village that he comes from, Shikundu. That's the village where he will be, well, before I say, what are the details of his burial?
Well, to start with, at 2 o'clock this afternoon here in Parliament, all political parties will be making tributes to Lawrence Chabane. As I've indicated, he has been member of this august house from 1994 until 1998, and again later when he became the Minister in the Presidency as well as Minister of Public Service. There are details that are still being worked out The Committee on State Funerals will be meeting at 12 o'clock today here in Cape Town to finalize all the arrangements, both for the memorial service, which is expected to be on Thursday in Pretoria, details of which we'll be able to announce after 12 o'clock meeting, as well as the funeral on Saturday.
On Saturday, the funeral on Saturday. And Minister, before we end off the interview, do you know, well, could you tell us a little bit more about the driver and the bodyguard as well, because we certainly cannot forget that they also lost their lives, and they also were serving him at the time of his death.
Well, it's sad indeed, because he's a driver and bodyguard, Mr. Lentsoane, as well as Sekele. They also lost their lives. They were within the cause and scope of their employment with government. So the necessary arrangements also will be made with their families so that they are accorded a proper funeral befitting of civil servants who dedicated their lives in making sure that ministers, premiers, and all others who serve government can be able to perform their duties without any hindrance. So our deepest condolences to them as well.
All right.
The driver, we understand, has been arrested, by the details of which I'm sure the South African Police Service will be able to indicate what's the way forward in terms of the court case.
All right, Minister, thank you very, very much for talking to us here on the programme. Minister Jeff Radebe is the Minister in the Presidency, talking to us about the arrangements for the funeral of the late Lawrence Lentsoane, who, of course, died in a car accident, as well as his bodyguard and driver, Sergeant Lesiba Sekele and Sergeant Lawrence Lentsoane, and condolences to their families as well.